So maybe you're like, well, this is all nice, all these videos about some basics about twin flames and what to do, what the inner work is and whatnot, but I mean, it still is not working for me. Maybe you say that to yourself, it's just not working for me. So what do I do and what can be going on? Well, this is why your twin flame is not yet with you. It is. Let's not talk around it any longer. Let me just reveal it to you. It is. It is because you think love comes from the other person on the outside instead of from the inside. You really believe that love should come from them and then should be directed to you only, exclusively. And you should be the receiver of all this attention and love and romance and presence as a one-directional highway to your heart, and the rest of you benefits so that your whole being and body and life can benefit from it. And that is what you think that love is. Instead of a foundational element that is baked in the reality that you are on the fundamental level, so that when you open yourself up in the heart on the inside by getting rid of the blocks that are standing there in the way, that you will find, so that you will find there what is truly already being present there, which is love. So that it can bubble up from the source where it actually comes from inside of you, come to the surface in you, in your heart, in your energy field, in your expression, in your behavior, in your words, in your being, in your vibration coming from the heart, in your actions, in your mission, in your gesture to the world, to the twin flame. Because that's actually what love is. And it is that for you, and it is that for your twin flame as well. And the thing is, this is not a theory. It is really like that. It's not an idea. It's not a concept alone. It is really like that. It's a reality that works like this. And, we might have been influenced so deeply by decades of imprint of institutions and people and parents and siblings and friends and education and society and social media that all tell us that it's different. And they might still surround us every day. For me, it was one of the most difficult things to let this reality that it is so sink in deep enough so that it not only on isolated moments that were meditative moments touched me so that I felt better and I got experiences that this was really true and really fulfilling, but that I also let it in 360 degrees in my entire life and in relationships with other people. I had no idea how that would work out with other people. The fact that love came to me to meet me inside, and that felt good. But what would that mean with other people? I only had relationships that were outside of this inner reality that I had truly experiences with my spiritual teacher and community and whatnot. But what to do with relationships with people, or with a love relationship and a romance and work relationships and societal relationships, from family relationships? I did, for the life of me, not understand how this inner sacred reality of love bubbling up inside of me would need to coincide with the people, with relationships, with doing things, acting, behavior, communication that was not connected somehow. Well, I was also deeply influenced by narcissistic upbringing and by sexual abuse in my upbringing and whatnot. So, I mean, that was a whole thing, that of course made it particularly pathological, or however you want to call it, in my case. And it doesn't need to be this pathological for you, or maybe it is, or even worse, or what is worse or not in that kind of realm, that's really hard to say. But like, it doesn't need to be really ill, or for you to also be some sort of inner realm of, yeah, I don't understand how that is connected. Doesn't need to be that bad for you to have this question too in your heart, like, but how does that connect? So there might be a moment in which I feel that love wells up in my heart, but how does that connect with the twin flame there? And so with relationships, with social relationships, then of course your twin flame is also how to connect that. Well, and that I think that is a fun question to ask with the twin flame, because the twin flame is actually, of all those other relationships with other people, the only one that is directly connected to your underlying love already, just like that. So when I was, in other words, resolving this whole problem in my life, like how to connect this concept that I have real experiences with, but connected so that it's not a concept anymore, connected to the reality of social life, real life, however you want to call it. Start a relationship, start a family, etc., and also mission, etc. How do I connect that? And the twin flame is actually the only one that naturally, parallel to me at the very same time, was also busy with trying to find that same solution for the approximate same problem, because we are twin flames that are looking for the same solutions for the same sort of issues and experiences that we have in life around the same time. So that's the only one that I can be sure of that was searching for this solution also at the same time, in the same way, approximately, with approximately same problem. Maybe like coming from another side of it, but then essentially still the same problem, right? So that also makes the twin flame stand out from, let's say, the rest or the other people, or however you want to call it. They are already connected to you in that deeper love. Because often with like other relationships than the true twin flame, like friends and colleagues and family and whatnot, and then they say like, oh, just be real kind to them, because then it looks so much like that love that actually bubbles up from the inside in you. That is the foundational love of life itself. But when you're just real kind to the people over there and over there, then it looks the most like it. So that's what you should do. And that is what many people say. And people build whole new churches on that kind of behavior. They truly do. They build movements on it. They build churches on it. They build businesses on it. They build, I don't know, money generating schemes on it, on the idea of being kind to other people. And I'm not saying that kind forms to deal with each other never play a role. Sure, I understand. I'm not dumb. But it is also, when you look at the genuineness or something, is that a word, of it, it is often not real. It's not true. It's not honest. It's not really true. Because do you really feel that there's a truly kind interaction there? Or do you just feel pressured by the new trend in how we should deal with each other because it's nice to be kind? Maybe that doesn't feel kind at all, this relationship that you have here or there. And they actually pretty much abuse you. Well, then don't be kind to them, but be honest. And that is the kindest, because then they can also, through that honesty, come into relationship with themselves underneath their abuse, potentially, and get into connection with true love that also bubbles up from underneath inside of them. So that is the most loving thing then to do, to be quote unquote unkind and be honest. That might very well be the kindest thing for you to do. So then the form sort of does not look kind, quote unquote, but that is actually the best thing, the most loving thing to do, because you refer them back to where the love bubbles up inside of them, instead of trying to take it from you in an abusive situation. Well, you should also then question, what were you doing there? Were you opening in the wrong way so that they could take from you? You see, that's often the case. And that's how you see that we unconsciously, okay, I understand, but still sort of collude with our abusers for this situation to happen, and that both parties need healing in their own way to actually go back to their place where true love bubbles up from inside of them. And you should not go back to that corner to see if there are now nice people there and not abusive people. Just don't go back to that corner in yourself, because it was perhaps also not right for you to be there, right? So that's a little bit how that works. But yeah, so interesting that the twin flame of everyone is this one person that is already connected with your inner love, your inner divine peace, your inner harmony. And well, that actually means that when you would meet them in some sort of corner that is not truly harmonized, and you standing firmly on the foundation of divine love, then they will mirror you the worst, so to speak, of all, right? So that you also get the biggest push to go to your own inner place and completely heal this issue that they actually point you to that needs to be healed forever after. That's the beauty of the true twin flame as well. And when you have worked through that, then you will find that you together are there already in intimacy together, and you just fall back to that. And that's the beauty of the twin flame relationship. Whereas with this sort of other person or something that in this other example you had this exchange with that was rather abusive, and then you made them refer back to themselves again, and you also went back to yourself. But when they went back to their place and you to yours, you will not find yourself in intimacy together there, already surrendered into this divine love. No, they will have their own place, and they will have their own twin flame there eventually. So that's also good for them, and it's good for you. Yeah. So why your twin flame is not with you? Because you think love comes from the other person instead of the inside. Go back to that inner place and don't leave it anymore. And be there in such a way that you are welcoming to your true twin flame to join you there. And claim your position next to them, joining them. That is where the love is. And there is no love in marriages that are going out of themselves and the other goes out of themselves and there they meet and it is so kind, so kind, so kind. Well, maybe they can do that for some time, maybe even a lifetime or 3 lifetimes, but eventually that ends. And with your twin flame falling back into the foundational love, this never ends. And that is in the most literal sense. It is already never ending. That's already going on right now. You just have to step into that layer and go live there. You have to move yourself and everything that you are and have to that place and claim your place beside them. So that's what we do. It's an inner movement. And your twin flame is not with you as long as you think that the love should come from them. Because that's not their role. They're already tired when they think about it. Because you are this big gaping hole full of wanting to and needing to be loved. They don't have things for you to throw in the volcano that you are. They never can have enough things for you to be filled up. And while they're doing that, they are not standing in a loving place towards themselves. So that's also not something that you would want for them. What you would want for them if you were really acting out of true love to your actual ultimate lover, your true twin flame, is actually you want for them to stand on their own feet. Have their own connection with love. And that's what you would want for them. That's loving of you. So that you both can open not to the world, but to your source, to be filled. And within that, both opening up to source and both being filled in your own way, you will find yourself intimately next to each other, together walking to the same horizon. That is the divine reality that awaits you in mission. And that is the kind of love that is twin flame love. So why is your twin flame not with you? Because you think love comes from the other person instead of inside. And that is not how reality works. Even though all kinds of stories and society and romance and dating tell you another story, another storyline. But that doesn't mean that standing on your own place and wanting for your twin flame to stand in their place as well, also being filled up from inside themselves by the divine, that it doesn't mean that that isn't a story full of love. It is actually. There can be a story that is about that. And by uncovering what that is for the both of you and taking away the blocks that are preventing you from fully perceiving that that is so, and what the big love is that there for you. That is a huge love story. It's a huge love story. And you have to open your heart to feel what that is and that is already so. And let it in what is already happening, and let that one unfold. That will be your ultimate romance. At this very same time with the divine and with your one true twin flame. So I hope this helped. Love from Petra.